Hello, this is Thor at the Homespun channel, showing us how to tune the tensions on a serger to make a really good stitch. I've taken this brother serger and tuned it up already, and the settings right now at 4, 4, 3.5, and 3 across the dial give us a really nice looking stitch. Here's the top, and it's got nice straight stitches on the needle, and the top upper looper is coming up to the edge and turning around, coming back. And on the back we have nice points of the needle threads, nice little points at each strike, and the lower thread is coming up to the edge, turning around, coming right back down. Looking really good. So let's see what it takes to make not such a good looking stitch and how to correct it. So a lot of times the balance of the upper and lower looper is a problem. Let's unbalance this one by taking the upper looper and setting it way low tension. So if we've lost the tension on the lower looper, let's see what kind of stitch we get. And here we have the top. It looks kind of normal, except the upper looper thread is disappearing over the edge. So we go over here to the back, and you can see that the lower looper loops are much shorter. They're pulling the upper looper thread right up and over and down into the back of the stitch. So if we see this, and what we need to do is to rebalance the upper and lower tensions by tightening up the upper looper, and that should take care of it. So putting the setting back to where we started. Let's do the stitch again. Let's see if that puts it right back to where it was. So we've had the upper looper here is coming back, looking better there. And it's coming right up to the edge. It's a little dicey there. We can make little adjustments there. Maybe loosen up the lower looper just a touch to ease it up. Ease that right up to the edge. So, and wow, okay. So we eased up on the lower tension. You can see, wow, that made a big difference. So now the lower looper thread is coming up and over, going over the edge, and the upper looper is now tighter and out of balance on the tight side. This is kind of typical for sergers. It's not an exact science of what number setting will give you what kind of stitch. It floats back and forth, and so you kind of have to seek out the right tensions. And put this back up to 3, which is where it was. This going to 3.5, which should pull that lower one up and over the edge again. So let's see what happens when we do this one. And there we go. So we have the stitch is now balanced. We have the needles are looking good, and the upper and lower are meeting at the top and not pulling each other over the edge. You can see that it's not pulling down on the edge of the fabric at all. We do have a little device inside the machine that these threads, these loops are being formed over the edge of a device that holds it out and keeps it from coming down and tightening up on the fabric. So we expect it to be pretty loose up there at the top. So with the loopers, you can see they go back and forth. This is what happens with the needle tension. We're going to loosen up the yellow thread on the needle and see what happens there. The stitch looks pretty good on top, but let's take a look at the bottom. There we go. What's happened is that without enough tension on the needle thread, the loops are pulling that thread out and forming a loop on the backhand side. We see this quite a bit. This indicates we need more tension on the yellow thread to pull that back down and make it just that point of threads showing on that stitch. Let's see if we can fix that. We'll go back up to 3 and run this one more time. Okay, here the front side again looks really good. And on the back, it's still looking a little loopy, isn't there? Even though we went back up to the previous setting, it's still got a loop showing. So we're going to make sure that that's in there. And I'm going to increase that another point. We'll see if a 4 will give that to us. So once again, the front looks good. On the back, hey, we're right back down to that point. So each needle thread has just a point of contact showing. And here's where we start out with a really well tuned, and it also had those points showing on that side. Loops coming up to the edge, nice straight needle tracks. So we've managed to go all over the map on tensions on this, but we wound up with a really good stitch. So I'd recommend making very small increments to the tensions. This machine here was pretty sensitive. Even a half of a degree on the dial made a huge difference to the amount of tension we ever had on the thread. So use small increments and just analyze each time you get a stitch and make a small increment to try to draw those in. So thanks for watching. Hope that was fun. Bye.